am reading from Memoir to 40, the autobiography of David Roy Smith. This would be part 16. Now, when it wasn't the weekend, I lived with Maria at 129 West 87th on the Upper West Side. I equated the left side of the brain to the Upper West Side and the right side of the brain to the Upper East Side. The Upper West Side was more artistic with the Lincoln Center, while the East Side was more materialistic and rational. Maria used to swim a lot at the pool on 86th Street. If she missed her swim, she would get depressed. We continued to listen to Bob Dylan songs. We had gone to Block Island with Sally. We found on Moment's Notice a cheap last-minute discount trip to Venezuela. I think the total cost with airfare and hotel was like $300. They had a new resort, so they did this to promote it. So we went with my sister Alice and her boyfriend Guy Blelloch. I was studying artificial intelligence at MIT or Harvard, while Alice was going to Harvard for her PhD in chemistry. Guy was later professor at Carnegie Mellon. On one of my visits to Boston to see Alice, they would make pesto sauce from scratch, which impressed me. I only began seriously interested in cooking much later in my 50s. This trip was in February 1985. The resort was in Puerto La Cruz, or around there. We all went to El Guatacarazo restaurant. Alice remembers an amazing Caesar salad. They made the dressing fresh in front of us with anchovies. We put on these huge sombreros. Those big hats can still be seen in a 1982 YouTube video of El Guatacarazo of Puerto La Cruz. We had lots of margaritas. Gasoline was like 15 cents a gallon there. And we were taking a small plane from Caracas to Barcelona, Venezuela. There was another New Yorker on the plane, and he made the remark, "Is this the crosstown bus?" Making fun of the load of tourists from New York. We drove to see a coffee plantation, but on the roadway would be these little kids who would run a string across the road to make you stop and give a donation. We were offered a plane trip to see Angel Falls for only $170, but even that was expensive for us at the time. Must have been poor. Master Darshan had made his second world tour in 1983. I saw him in Bowling Green, Virginia. In 1984, I was unemployed and began an MBA degree at New York University. Graduate School Business, which at that time was downtown, south of the World Trade Center on Rector Street. I drove a yellow taxi, usually on Friday and Saturday night. And traffic, and usually Friday, Saturday night, because it was the biggest money earners. Traffic moved faster at night, so the meter ran up faster, plus with all the partners, on weekend nights, you had almost continuous customers, but the work was very hard and demanding and fast-paced. I made it as much as $200 to $300 a night. This was cash too. One night I had Alistair cook in the car. One night I picked up a group, only to pick them up again many hours later at a different spot. What was the odds of that? The only thing you had to wear fear was the people who wanted to go to Queens or Brooklyn. That was considered a money loser because you did not have a round trip and had to come back empty to Manhattan, so you tried to pick up customers by their appearance, avoiding black people, etc. To not pick up someone was considered considered illegal. You were required to take people to Brooklyn, etc. I once had a trip to Garden City, Long Island, but that was considered very good. You got double the fare to go outside of New York City, 5 boroughs. That trip was like $300 alone. Generally, men tipped higher than women, probably because they either had more or they needed to impress. There was the Jewish old ladies that would just go just a short ways on Park Avenue and whenever uptown, and then tip you a standard 50 cents. Usually other people who also worked for tips gave you the best tips. So the best tips might be from a waitress. I used to say I was writing my comic guide to cab driving in New York City with guidelines like, in order to make a right turn, always get in the far left lane. One thing I definitely learned from driving was New York City. You also learn to drive in New York like as you approach an avenue in which the one-way traffic was left, you get in the right lane. As you approach the avenue with the traffic right, you get in the left lane. So you are constantly lead from right to left, avoiding left turners. Now you know why New York cab drivers drive crazy, since they are paid more on distance than time. If you wanted to slow them down, then all you have to do is change their incentive. Stop there, I guess. That's what the taxi. The taxi in New York City. Yeah. What happened there? He went to Venezuela. In that part, it's 16. He went to Venezuela. There's this picture in I don't know if it's Guatacarazo. That's the resort in Venezuela. He went with his sister, Maria, of course. Part 16. We're reading from the Memoir to Puerto, autobiography of David Smith NYC.